Dear students, welcome to the lecture on machine learning. Up to my last video, I explained about Unit 1 syllabus. At that time, we discussed what is machine learning, what are the advantages we will get with machine learning, what are the various application areas of machine learning, how to construct a machine learning model by knowing the ingredients of machine learning like features, tasks, and models. I explained each and every ingredient in detailed manner. Later, I explained about binary classification. How to I explained how to do binary classification, how to construct a model for binary classification, and how to evaluate the binary classification. Till now, we discussed all these things. That is Unit 1 syllabus. Now coming to the Unit 2. Unit 2 also having two chapters. The first chapter belongs to how to handle more than one class. See, in binary classification, we had two classes only, right? Suppose a positive class or negative class. We had two classes only, or class A and class B. Yes class or no class. Male class or female class. I explained only binary classification. Means we had only two classes. Now the question is how to handle more than two classes, right? I will explain how to handle more than two classes with clear examples. And the next concept is regression. I'm talking about chapter 1 from unit 2, regression techniques. See, we already discussed regression, but why we need to discuss regression once again? This regression is going to handle uh, more multiple classes. And similarly, I will discuss with you regarding unsupervised learning means without classes, without class labels. Unsupervised learning, supervised learning. In supervised learning, we are using class labels to do the classification or to move the instances into concerned class. Whereas in unsupervised learning, the best example for unsupervised learning is a cluster analysis. In clustering, we are not using any labels. Means based on the instance similarity or object similarity, objects are arranged as groups. Objects are arranged as groups. And the next chapter belongs to concept learning. In concept learning, I will explain hypothesis space and conjective concepts. This is the complete content in the unit 2. Firstly, I would like to discuss about how to handle more than two classes. Right. I already told to you. Till now, what we discussed about binary classification. Binary classification. After binary classification, I explained the probability estimation concepts, scoring and ranking concepts, and In estimation, I explained various estimation techniques. Now, I would like to talk about how to handle more than two classes. How to handle more than two classes. This is the basic objective of chapter 1, first concept. Now, coming to the multi-class classification. In binary classification, we are using only two class labels, right? Here multi-classification means the classes may be 3 classes or 4 classes and so on. Here I would like to discuss two important things, that is how to evaluate multi-class performance and how to build a model for multi-class classification. In binary classification, we discussed how to construct a model to perform classification. Now, we are going to discuss about how to construct a model for multi-class classification. Observe this here. To assess the binary classification, we are using confusion matrix or contingency table. I explained confusion matrix or contingency table in the first unit. At the time, the confusion matrix explained for binary classification. Not only confusion matrix, I explained precision, recall, and accuracy calculation also. Based on this, we are going to estimate the performance of the classifier. Similarly, in multi-class classification also, we are going to estimate or evaluate the performance. These are the two issues I would like to cover in this presentation. Once again, I am repeating how to evaluate multi-class performance. Till now, we know the confusion matrix to evaluate the class performance, that is for binary classification. Precision, recall, and accuracy measures are used to evaluate the classifier performance in binary classification. But how to evaluate multi-class classifier performance, I will explain. Similarly, how to construct a model for multi-class classification, I will explain. In multi-class classification, here I would like to explain this with a simple example. Suppose we had k number of classes. Assume like this. How we can evaluate the performance of the classifier? Now, what I am going to discuss, I am going to discuss the first point, that is how to evaluate multi-class performance. Suppose there are k number of classes. Now the question is how to evaluate the performance of the classifier. First, if it is a binary classification, we are going to use confusion matrix or contingency table. From the confusion matrix, we will get true positives, true negatives, false positives, and false negatives. By using the values of true positives, true negatives, false positives, and false negatives, we will calculate precision, recall, and accuracy, as well as error also. Here, how we people do the same. for multi-class classification. See here, k number of classes are there. Then what we need to do? We need to construct a k by k contingency table, like n by n matrix, right? Here, I will show the confusion matrix for k by k classes. Suppose the k value is 3, means 3 number of classes are existed. For 3 number of classes, this row shows the actual values which are belongs to a particular class, and the column shows the predicted values, and the boundaries means this column and this row shows the total values of a concerned row and column. Now observe this here. Okay, I will explain the table. Now observe this. Assessing the performance is easy if we are interested in the classifier accuracy. Here, sum of a descending diagonal of the contingency table divide the number of test instances. Now observe this. Here, this is what matrix diagonal elements 15, that is a true positive, and this 15 also shows the true positive, and this 45 also shows the true positives. This one belongs to class 1, and this one belongs to class 2, and this one belongs to class 3. Here, this row belongs to C1, that is class 1, this row belongs to C2, class 2, and this row belongs to C3, that is class 3. Right, 3 number of classes are existed. Why? Because our k value is 3. And diagonal element shows what? Diagonal element shows true positives. Now coming to the concept, how to evaluate the accuracy of the classifier? By considering these 3, right? Here our classifier is going to generate 3 different classes. If it is a binary classification, only 2 classes are generating, either true class or false class, like that, or yes class or no class, male class or female class, like that. Here our classifier is going to generate 3 classes. How the instance space containing instances are arranged into a particular class? By using our model. Our model is our classifier. Our classifier classifies the new instances into concerned class. Right. How correctly predict our classifier whenever the new instance will enter? Right. To know that, here we are using confusion matrix. Here confusion matrix is generated based on the number of classes. Here our classes are 3. Because of that reason, here we constructed confusion matrix for 3 number of rows and 3 number of columns. Here the 4th row and 4th column shows the total of that row and total of that column. Right. Now observe this. Here 15 is true positives for class 1, and this 15 shows true positives for class 2, and this 45 shows true positives for class 3. Now what about the accuracy? 15 plus 15 plus 45, the total is 45 plus 15, 60, 60 plus 15, 75. 75 by total number of instances, that is 100. If you observe this, 24 plus 20 plus 56, that is what? The total is 100. Similarly, add the column values 20 plus 30, 50, 50 plus 50, 100. The total number of instances are 100. After evaluating 100 instances, only 75 instances are correctly classified. Means 75 by 100, that is the accuracy value of the classifier. This is the procedure to know the accuracy of the classifier. We need to use the formula like this. Total number of correctly predicted values by total instances. Now, coming to the precision calculation and recall calculation formula. Here, true positives for precision in binary classification, we are using this formula. True positives by true positives plus false negatives. Now, observe this. Here, consider this column. In this column, 15 is correctly classified instances, and the rest of 2, right, 7 and 2 are incorrectly classified instances, right? Here, how to calculate the precision? Precision is equal to true positives by true positives plus false negatives. Sorry, false positives. Here, observe this 15 plus 15 plus, sorry, 15 by 15 plus 7 plus 2. 15 by 15 by 15 plus 7 plus 2. That is what? 24. 15 by 24 is the precision value for class 1. That is 0.63. Similarly, for class 2, 15 by total number of instances, either true positives or false positives. That is what? 15 by 20. That is 0.75. And in the same fashion, we are going to calculate precision value for class 3 also. Class 3 represents what? This column. Observe this column. In this column, 45 instances are correctly classified, and those are called true positives. And 8 plus 3 means 11 instances are incorrectly classified. That means what? False positives. Then how to calculate precision? Precision is equal to true positives by true positives plus false positives. Then we will get a 0.90 as accuracy. And to know the classifier accuracy, we need to combine class 1 precision. To know the complete classifier precision, we need to add these 3 classes precision values. The first class precision value is 0.75. Second class precision value is first class precision value is 0.63. Second class precision value is 0.75, and the third class one is we need to calculate, and we need to add these 3 precision values to generate a final precision value. That final precision value, that is the average precision value for the classifier. Similarly, we need to calculate recall. How to calculate recall? Recall is equal to true positives by true positives plus false negatives. Where we get false negatives? Observe this one. Here 2 and 3 are false negatives and 15 is the true positive. 15 by true positives means 15 plus false negatives are 2 plus 3. False negatives are 2 plus 3 means column. Row values. Here for precision we are using column values. For recall we are using row values. 15 by 15 plus 2 plus 3, that is 20. That means 15 by 20. 15 by 20, the recall value is 0.75. Similarly, 15 by 30, the recall value is 0.50. Similarly, for third class, we are calculating, right, 45 by 50. Then we will get the recall result, right? Here this is for precision and this is for recall. See here for classifier precision value, we're considering average class precision value like C1 class precision value plus C2 class precision value plus C3 class precision value. By 3, we'll get classifier precision value. Similarly, recall for class 1, recall value for class 2, recall value for class 3 by 3. Then we will get classifier recall value. Right? For multi-class classification, we are using precision value. We need to calculate precision value by using this formula, right? There is no much difference between these two, but here we need to consider this precision and recall calculation process. Till now, what we discussed about how to construct a confusion matrix or contingency table if number of classes are more than 2. I explained k value is equal to 3. We need to construct 3 by 3 matrix, 3 by 3 confusion matrix. Here I explained how to calculate accuracy value for 3 by 3 confusion matrix, means if number of classes are 3, and how to calculate precision value and recall value. Then move on to the next one. Right? Till now, we discussed about how to evaluate the performance, of the classifier, right? By using the confusion matrix along with accuracy, precision, recall, value calculations. Then the first point is completed. The first point is how to evaluate multi-class performance. Now coming to the second point, that is how to build multi-class models for how to build multi-class models. Now coming to this, to construct multi-class models means to construct a classifier for multi-class model. Here classifier construction means what? Model construction. To construct a model for multi-class classification, we are going to use mainly two approaches. One is one versus rest model and one versus rest method, and the second one is one versus one method. Remember these two words, these two names clearly, right? Why we are using one versus one model, one method, and one versus rest method? One versus one method and one versus rest method are used to construct a model for multi-class classification. Instead of the word model, we may use classifier also here. Once again, I am repeating. In multi-class classification, to construct a model or classifier, we are using two approaches. One is one versus rest, and the second one is one versus one. I will explain these two one after another. Now observe this. In one versus rest scheme, here we are considering n number of classes. Assume like this. Why? Because this is a multi-class classification. If it is a binary classification, we had only two classes, C1 and C2. Assume like this. Whereas in multi-class classification, we had n number of or k number of classes. In this example, I mentioned n number of classes, C1, C2, and so on, Cn. In one versus rest, I will explain one versus rest. See, uh, there are some classes like this. The classes are C1, C2, and so on, Ci, and so on, Cn. Here, C1, C2, and so on, Cn are classes. Whenever a new instances, see, observe this. This is a instance space. Assume like this. This is an instance space. This instance space contains number of instances like this. These are some instances. These instances are existed at instance space. From the data set, all these instances are collected. From the data set, all these instances are collected. Assume like this. See why I'm taking number of colors, more number of colors to represent each color represents one a particular class. Assume like this. Right. There are more than one class existed. Mean there are a variety of instances are existed at instance space. Right. This is what instance space. This is what instance space. Here these are class 1, class 2, class 3, and so on, class n. What is our objective? We need to construct a model to arrange these objects into a concerned class. Right? How to construct a model to arrange these instances into a concerned class. These instances into a concerned class. This is our issue. There are variety of methods existed to construct a model to arrange instance space instances into a concerned class. The first method is one versus rest method, and the second one is one versus one method. These are the two possible methods which are used to construct a model in multi-class classification. In multi-class classification, right? What happened in one versus rest method? In one versus rest method, I will explain. I will explain one versus rest method. Observe this one carefully. Here we are considering the first class. We are considering the first class, and where the first class is as positive class. The first class is as positive class. The first class is as positive class. Now C1 is the positive class and the rest of the classes. Remember what I am going to explain? I am going to explain one versus rest. In one versus rest approach, we are considering one class as positive and the rest of the classes, and the rest of the classes means all these classes are treated as negative classes. Got the point? Here, positive is representing by using +1, and a negative class is representing by using -1. This is what case 1. This is what case 1. What about case 2? This is case 1. Coming to the case 2, in case 2, we are considering C2 as the positive class, C2 as the positive class, and the rest of the classes are what? C1 comma C3. C2 is not existed. Why? Because C2 is treated as positive class. The rest of the classes are C1, C3, C4, and so on, and so on. N number of classes are treated as, means all these are treated as negative classes. All these are treated as negative classes. In case 3, we are considering C3 as positive class, and the rest of the classes are what? C1 comma C2 comma C4 comma and so on, Cn are treated as negative classes. Got the point? This is the procedure we are using in one versus rest approach. Got the point? Hope you will get clarity on one versus rest approach. Right. Now go to the presentation. Right. Till now, I explained one versus rest scheme. Now read this line. In one versus rest scheme, what we are using? We are using the training, or we are taking K binary classifiers. What are the classifiers we are using? K binary classifiers. Like case in, consider case 1. In case 1, binary classification happened, right? Here C1 is treated as positive and the rest are treated as negative. This is what one binary classification. This is one. And coming to the case 2, in case 2, we are treating C2 as positive and the rest of the classes are treated as negative. This is also binary classifier, right? This is second binary classifier. And coming to the third case, in third case, C3, we are treating C3 as positive and the rest of the classes are negative. Like this, we are going to perform n number of classifiers. We are going to use n number of classifiers to perform binary classification. Got the point? Right. This is what K binary classifiers. What happened? This is the explanation. What this is the textual explanation. What I explained here in a diagrammatic manner, right? All of you go through this for better understanding purpose. Now coming to the next one, what is the alternative for one versus rest? The alternative for one versus rest is 1 versus 1, right? Here 1 versus 1 using pairs. What kind of pairs it is going to use? I will explain. 1 versus 1. Here also classes are available like this. Suppose let me consider 3 classes. The classes are C1, C2, and C3. Here we are using class pairs. Each class pair is treated as one classifier. Means first we are constructing C1 and C2 as a pair. This is pair 1. Means classifier 1. Why? Because in one by one approach, we are using classes as pairs. Here, C1 and C2 is constructed as a pair. Now, this pair is treated as a classifier. Now, this pair is treated as a classifier. At the point, this is case 1. Coming to the case 2, in case 2, we are considering C2, C3 classes are pairs. This is pair 2, right? This pair 2 is also treated as another classifier. Like this, we are constructing the third classifier, that is C1 comma C3. Means C1 and C3 except C2. At the point, this is also another pair. Each pair is treated as one classifier in one by one approach. This is another classifier. Total, how many classifiers are existed for 3 classes? For 3 classes, we constructed 3 pairs. Each pair is treated as one classifier. Up to this one is clear? Now, we are using each classifier to construct identify the new instances which are belongs to a particular class. Here, we are following 2 approaches. Means in one by one model, in one by one method, where we are following 2 cases. Case 1 is a symmetric. Case 2 is asymmetric. Suppose C1 comma C2 is a pair, right? If this pair is equal to C2 comma C1, this is symmetric. Suppose C1 comma C2 not equal to C2 comma C1. This is asymmetric. Right here, what we observe the similarity, and here we observe the dissimilarity. I will explain one by one and one versus one and one versus rest approaches with the output code matrix, right? And one more important point here is, for symmetric case, how many number of classifiers are required to construct is k into, suppose k number of classes are there. How many number of classifiers are required? K into k minus 1 number of k minus 1 by 2 number of classifiers are required. Observe this one carefully. To classify k number of classes, how many number of classifiers are required? K into k minus 1 by 2 number of classifiers are required. If it is a asymmetric type, k into k minus 1 number of classifiers are required. See, if both are equal, k into k minus by 2 number of classifiers are required. If both are different, both pairs are treated as different, k into k minus 1 classifiers are required. Means these many number of models we need to construct to perform the k class classification. That is multi-class classification. Right? Remember these two formulas, k into k minus 1 by 2 for symmetric case, k into k minus 1 model constructions for asymmetric case. Now, I would like to explain this. Now, observe this. In this scheme, we are giving training for how many number of classifiers? K into k minus 1 by 2 for asymmetric and for symmetric, and k into k minus 1 classifiers for asymmetric, right? And the next one is output code matrix. This is very important thing to perform classification. To perform classification, here we are using output. Now observe the code matrix. This is called output code matrix. What is an output code matrix? Here k number of classes are there. These class tasks classified into L number of means k number of classes are classified into L number of tasks. This is called as output code matrix. Here, observe the k by L matrix means our k value is 3. Assume like this. Total possible entries are 3 plus 1, 0, minus 1. Here plus 1 indicates a positive and minus 1 indicates a negative and 0 is a neutral, right? Now observe this one versus one method. In one versus one method, we are considering pairs. I already explained that one in the last case, right? Once again, I will explain one versus one, right? Here C1, C2, C3 are the classes. Now k value is equal to what? 3. If k value is equal to 3, how many number of classes are existed? 3 number of classes are existed. Good. Here pairs are formed. In 1 by 1 versus 1 approach, pairs are formed. C1 comma C2 is pair 1. C2 comma C3 is a pair 3, pair 2, and C3 comma or C1 comma C3 is pair 3. Total how many pairs are formed? There are 3 pairs. 3 pairs are formed, right? 3 pairs are formed. Assume like this. If we construct a matrix for this, that is a k by L matrix, here k value is 3. And how many number of tasks are going to perform? Now observe this. Observe this matrix. Observe this matrix. Here this is matrix. This is a k by L matrix. Here how many classes are there? Pair. How many classes are there? 3 pairs of classes are there. Total classes are C1, C2, C3. C1, C2, C3. What are the values we are going to take? Plus 1, 0, minus 1. Suppose C1 is positive, that one indicates by using +1, and C2 is negative, that is -1, and C3 is not applicable, that is neutral. This is case 1, right? Here we considered what? This pair only. This pair only means this is a C1 is positive and C2 is negative. There is no C3, right? Because of that reason, here we are taking C3 value is equal to 0. Now observe the third pair. Observe the third pair, C1 comma C3. From this, C1 is treated as positive and C3 is treated as negative, right? From this, C1 is treated as positive and C3 is treated as negative. And what about C2? There is no, this pair doesn't contains the class C2, right? Now C2 is equal to 0. Then C2 is 0. Till now, we completed two pairs. From first pair, C1 value, C1 is treated as positive class and C2 is treated as negative class. And C3 is neutral. Why? Because C3 is not existed in this pair. Coming to the third pair, that is C1, C3. From this pair, we treated C1 as positive and C3 as negative, and C2 is not existed in this pair. Because of that reason, here C2 is equal to 0. Similarly, consider this one, that is C2 comma C3. From this, we are treating C2 as a positive and C3 as a negative. And what about C1? C1 is not presented in this pair. Because of that reason, we are treating C1 as neutral. Now C1 value is 0. Got the point? This is the procedure to construct an output code matrix. This is what? Output code matrix. Output code matrix. Output code matrix. Do you need any repetition? Hope you understood. How we constructed this? By using one by one approach. Which approach we use to construct this? This is a one by one approach. This is one versus one approach. One versus one approach. In one versus one approach, we are considering pairs. We are considering pairs. How many pairs are formed? If k value is equal to 3, here we formed 3 pairs like this: C1, C2, C2, C3, and C1, C3. These are the possible pairs. Here, by using these pairs, we constructed an output code matrix, right? If pairs classes are like C1 and C2, we are treating C1 as positive, that means first pair as positive and second pair as negative. There is one more class called C3, but C3 is not existed in this pair. Because of that reason, here we are treating C3 value as 0. C3 value as 0. From second pair, C2 is treated as positive and C3 is treated as negative and C1 is treated as neutral. From the third pair, C1 is treated as positive and C3 treated as negative and C2 is treated as 0. Like this, we constructed output code matrix. Why we constructed output code matrix is whenever a new instance will enter. I already explained instance space in the previous slides, right? Suppose Whenever a new instance will enter into a picture, that new instance is classified by using our classifier. At that time, the classifier is going to use this output code matrix. Here, each row is treated as one word. This is a one word, and this is one word. This is another word. Assume like this. Suppose a new instance will enter into the picture. A new instance will enter into the picture from the instance space, from the training set or test set. A new instance will enter into the picture like this. The new instance is 0, 1, minus 1, 1. Assume like this. This is a new word. See, C1 forms, in this row this row contains word 1. This is the word 1. This is word 2. This is word 3. Right? This word belongs to C1. This word belongs to C2. This word belongs to C3. Got the point? If a new instance is matched with this word or this word or this word, we need to verify like this. We need to verify like this. This new instance or new word belongs to a particular class. Observe this. From these three words, our new instance, this is what? New instance or new word. This new instance belongs to which class? This new instance belongs to which class? This new instance belongs to, right, 0, minus 1. We need to verify like this. Our classifier verifies like this. It is matched with this word or not. Yes, the first one is 0. Here first one is plus. And coming to the second word, 0, minus 1 not matched. 0, 0 matched. Then it verifies minus 1, minus 1 matched. Minus 1, minus 1 matched. Now this new instance belongs to class 3. This new instance belongs to class 3. Like this, the instances are arranged into a particular class. Got the point? What happened in one versus one approach? In one versus one approach, pairs are constructed. By using the pairs, output code matrix constructed. This output code matrix contains words. Each word belongs to a particular class. Each word belongs to a particular class. Whenever a new instance will enter into the picture, the constructed model or constructed classifier classifies by verifying the new instance is matched with any word which is in the output code matrix or not. If match is identified, then immediately this new instance is arranged into a particular class. In this way, the classification happened in a one by one versus one approach. And observe this. Here, we are considering C1 and C2, or C2 and C1 are same. There is another case, another possible case. I will explain that case also. Now observe this. I will remove it. Right. Observe the another case also. C1 comma C2 is a pair. C2 comma C3 is a pair. C1 comma C3 is also a pair. Right. Total 3 pairs are there. If it is not matched with C2 comma C1, we consider first case, that is matched case. C1 and C2 is equal to C2 comma C1. We are considering now unequal case. C, sorry, C3 comma C2 not equal to C3 comma C1, right? What is this? Here C1 is positive, assume like this, C2 is negative. In the earlier case, C1 is positive, C2 is negative. Similarly, C2 is negative and C1 is positive. There is no issue. Why? Because this is C1, this is C2. Now this is C2 and this is C1. From C1 and C2 pair, C1 is positive, C2 is negative. From C2, C1 pair, C2 is negative and C1 is positive. In both cases, C2 is negative or not? In both cases, C1 is positive or not? Yes. In both cases, C2 is negative and C1 is positive. Right? This is an equal case. I explained my last example with equal case. Now, coming to the next possible case, that is this is C1, C1 is positive, C2 is negative, assume like this. Now C2 is positive, C1 is negative, right? Observe this carefully. Now C1 comma C2 is equal to C2 comma C1. No. Why? Because from the first pair, C2 is -1. From the second pair, C2 is +1. Means from the first pair, C2 is negative. In the second pair, C2 is positive. Now observe the C1. In the first pair, C1 is positive, and in the second pair, C1 is negative. This is what? An unequal case. Now, how to construct an output code matrix for this? Explain output code matrix. How to construct output code matrix for an equal case. Now, observe this. C1, C2, C3. Right. Initially, C1 is positive, C2 is negative. There is no C3, then you need to keep 0. Coming to the second pair. Here, C2 is negative and C1 is positive. Means like swapping. C1 is negative and C2 is positive. There is no change in the C3 because C3 is not existed. Now coming to this one, C1 is positive, C3 is negative, and this is 0. After considering this pair, C3 is positive, C1 is negative, there is no change in the C2. Coming to this case, C2 is positive, C3 is negative, and 1 is neutral, and reverse case. Here C2 is negative, consider this one, C2 is negative and C3 is positive, and this is neutral. This is what? This is a output. This is output code matrix. for unequal case. Output code matrix for unequal case, right? Here, observe this carefully. This is what? A word. This is what? A word. This is another word. Like this, for each class, one word is generated, right? Whenever a new instance will enter into the picture for a classification, our classifier classifies if any, I mean, if a new instance is matched with any class or any word in the output code matrix. If the word is matched with output code matrix containing word, it immediately identifies whether the word belongs to which class, then automatically the new instance is arranged into a particular class, right? This is the procedure to do to construct output code matrix and to construct a new model or classifier to identify the new instance which is belongs to a concerned class. Right here, till now, what we discussed about a one versus one approach. I will explain one versus rest approach in my second video, in my next video. I will share assessment link to you. All of you must do the assessment test. Thank you for watching this video.